Well, today is a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD day, a disease which is estimated to affect 1.2 million people in the UK. Well, here to tell us more is the chair of Alpha One UK Support, Karen O'Hara. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, and lead research nurse Andrew Deans. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
Right. I first came across this COPD when I was reading about the African-American writer Maya Angelou, and she developed the condition after smoking cigarettes for 40 years. But what exactly is COPD?
COPD, it's a name for a group of lung conditions that cause breathing difficulties. It's essentially emphysema, which is damage to the small air sacs in the lungs, and chronic bronchitis, which is the long-term inflammation of the airways, which produce excessive amounts of mucus.
And what causes this?
In this country, it's predominantly cigarette smoking.
Ah, okay. Just wanted to clarify that. And what is the AATD? What is that?
Alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. It's a rare genetic disorder that there's a problem with a protein that is produced in the liver that gets out and protects the lungs. People who have this genetic disorder go on to develop COPD earlier on in life, usually in their early sort of 30s and 40s it becomes most apparent.
Okay. And is this something that's affected you, Karen?
Yes, I actually have alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency.
And how does it affect you in your daily life?
Well, quite severely, really. I think breathlessness is one of the key problems that you have. Not being able to breathe actually has a massive impact on so many different areas of your life, from actually getting up, getting dressed, getting showered, doing the shopping, doing the housework, just mundane areas of your life are severely affected, having to give up work early.
And just how do you manage that then on a day-to-day level? Because the things that you're describing are kind of, sort of everyday things that people sort of do without thinking.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm probably quite progressed now in the area of my condition. But when I was in my 30s and 40s, I was probably more breathless than my friends and family, but I was still able to water ski and play squash and do sports and do everything that a normal person would do. I didn't even know I had alpha-1. But one thing I did know was that I was much more breathless than my friends. Any chest infections that I had any colds that I had instantly went to quite severe and nasty chest infections with quite a lot of horrible green sputum. But that happened to me also when I was a child. So you can see these things happening to you much younger.
So you thought it was something else? You thought it was just...
Yeah, I didn't really know what it was. I just thought, I get more horrible colds than
everybody else.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So eventually you went to your GP, did you, and it was diagnosed?
It was actually my respiratory nurse said I was far too young to have COPD, and there was this rare genetic condition that I potentially could have, and she'd like to test me for that, and it came back positive.
And then you were put on medication?
Well, there isn't any medication specifically for alpha-1, so we manage our condition really by COPD or asthma inhalers. We have a management plan, a self-management plan that we put together with our GPs or respiratory nurses or specialist respiratory clinicians. And we have to make sure that any chest infections that we have are treated very promptly and early with antibiotics and steroids sometimes to prevent further lung damage.
So it's down to an individual management plan. Is there research going on, Andrew?
There's a lot of research. It kind of follows two paths. One, to understand the disease. Physicians from all over Europe are working together to try and get a better understanding of the disease, But there are also a number of pharmaceutical companies or drug companies who are working with treatments or working with the patients for treatments for this disease. So although there's nothing that's licensed, or rather there's nothing that's available in the UK for this patient population, we're working towards it and hoping that we can have something on the market before long.
Okay, because this condition does affect 1.2 million people in the UK. Is it a growing...
Well, COPD affects that many people.
Yeah.
Alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency, we reckon, affects about 3% of that patient population.
Okay.
And it's only the most severe types of that will actually go on to develop the lung disease. And the simple way to do it is to go and get a test. The World Health Organization recommends that everybody with COPD goes along to a GP or their respiratory physician, nurse, etc., and has that blood test. It's very easy for the patients, and it's what should be happening.
And you shouldn't be worried either. If you do test positive for alpha-1, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will have symptoms. There are a lot of people that don't have symptoms as severe as I do, for example.
Okay. So when you're diagnosed with COPD, then go and get the test?
Absolutely,
Yes.
Okay, and don't be worried about that because, you've got your support group and people can benefit from that.
Yes, yeah. Our support group, we have lots of members who know what it's like to live with alpha-1. Some of us are very active, some of us are less active, but actually keeping up a healthy lifestyle and exercising is really good. One of our alphas is on oxygen and she pulls aeroplanes.
She does what?
She pulls aeroplanes. She's a strong woman.
Good for her, that's what I say. And where can our listeners go for more information?
They can go to our website, www.alpha1.org.uk. It's the Alpha-1 UK support group. We've got our website. We've got a very active Facebook group, which is private, so you can speak to individual patients. You can also get information from the British Lung Foundation, who have more generic information on other conditions that are caused by COPD and COPD in general.
Okay, so that's alpha1.org.uk.
Absolutely.
Karen O'Hara, the chair of Alpha-1 UK support and lead research nurse at Andrew Dean. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.